A very good day to all of you. Today I'm here to discuss novel. In the earlier video, we have talked about drama. So, today I'm going to tell you about novel. So, the word novel it was not used until the end of 18th century. All of you must have read some novel at a time in your life. So, and you must be reading now also these days in the days of lockdown when you find enough time for study. So, today we will discuss novel. So, novel is a kind of short, compact, broadly realistic tale popular during the medieval period. So, the deep it sometime it talks about the deeper perception of life and its problem. So, so if we go to a very precise definition of novel, it's a kind of fictitious prose narrative of considerable length in which characters and actions representative of real life are portrayed in a plot of more or less complexity. So, like the drama, it's also having some elements. And what are those elements? They are plot, characters, point of view, setting, and in the last but not the least, novelist criticism. So, plot, as you all know, what is plot? Plot it means what happens in the story, or what is the theme, or what is the structure of the story, and the character who is involved in what happens in the stories, and the point of view means how the story is being told, and the setting when and where the story takes place, and novelist criticism is the interpretation or the philosophy of the writer. So now we will discuss the types of novel. So there are so many types of novel: autobiographical novel, epistolary novel, social realism novel, historical novel, novel of manners, mystery novel. So we will talk about detective novel. So detective, as you all know, detective means the person who spies. So a novel that is based on solving of a crime or anything, uh, often by a brilliant detective, and usually employs the element of mystery and suspense. So the main aspects of detective novel are mystery and suspense. I give you some of the examples. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, the Hound of Baskerville, Agatha Christie's Murder on the Orient Express. So these, as I have told you, that the detective novel they talk about the suspense and some types of crime. So now we will take historical novel. So historical novel they describe means in the historical novel fictional character take part in actual historical events and interact with real people from the past. So this is all about historical novel, and if you go for the example of historical novel, you will have you there are some few examples I'm giving. Sir Walter Scott, Ivanhoe, Beverly and James Fenimore Cooper, Last of the Mohicans. So these are the types of historical novel. So now we will take epistolary novel. So epistolary it's a novel consisting of letters written by a character of or several characters. So the form allows for the use of multiple points of view towards the story and the ability to dispense with an omniscient narrator. So the some of the examples are Samuel Richardson Pamela, C.S. Lewis, The Screw Tape Letters. So if you talk about as the name suggests, epistolary, so it's a novel consisting of letters only. So now we will talk about sentimental novel. So sentimental, again the name suggests, the word suggests sentimental novel. It's a heightened emotional response to events. It's a type of novel that was popular in 18th century that seeks overemphasizes on emotion and seeks to create emotional responses in the reader. The type also usually features an overly optimistic view of the goodness of human nature. So we have the example Oliver Goldsmith's The Vicar of Wakefield, Henry Mackenzie, The Man of Feeling. So, what is important in sentimental novel? Emotion is touted as superior to reason, and is extremely moral and didactic. So we are having the main thing here is conventional situation, stock characters and rhetorical devices, as well as self-indulgence and elevated feeling. So now we will describe science fiction novel. So science fiction novel, as the name suggests, it talks about science. A novel in which futuristic technology or otherwise altered scientific principles contribute in a significant way to the adventures. Often the novel assumes a set of rules or principles or facts and then traces their logical consequence in the same form. So, if we take science fiction novel examples, they are these are the two important science fiction novel. One is H.G. Wells' The Invisible Man, and the second one is Aldous Huxley' Brave New World. So now it's a dystopian novel. It's an anti-utopian novel where instead of paradise, everything has gone wrong in the attempt to create a perfect society. So George Orwell has written 1984 and Aldous Huxley also written Brave New World. So it's all about the types of novel, and then we have also adventure novel. The adventure novel, it talks about exciting events and they are more important than character development and sometimes theme. And adventure novels are sometimes described as fiction rather than literature in order to distinguish books. They are properly designed for mere entertainment rather than thematic importance. So if you give example, then Alexander Dumas' The Three Musketeers and Alexander Dumas' The Count of Monte Cristo, they are the example. So novel, it's a I told you that's a kind of a hybrid genre, and it's the loosest form of literary art, and it compasses many different subgenres, and it is battled with some other genres from the very beginning. And novel, it's a very effective medium of the portrayal of human thought and action, and it often contains letters, dialogues, narration, and poetry, etc. So there are so many if precursors of novel: John Lilly, Robert Greene, Thomas Lodge, Philip Sidney, Thomas Nash. So they are the main precursor of novel. So I have talked about the major types of novel. They are epistolary, picaresque, experimental, novel of sentimental. So these one more type is picaresque novel. So picaresque novel derives from Spanish picaro. What is picaro? Picaro is a rogue scoundrel. So it's a usually autobiographical chronicle of a rascal's travels and adventures as he or she makes his her way through the world more by wits than industry. So what are the main feature of the picaresque novel? It's episodic, it is in loose character structure, and it's usually a first person narrative. Then the example are Daniel Defoe's Moll Flanders, uh, and then Don Quixote. So these are the two examples of picaresque novel. And who were the masters of picaresque novel? Henry Fielding and Tobias Smollett. Then we have another kind of novel. They are experimental novel, gothic novel. So I will talk about gothic novel. As the word suggests, it's loaded with magic, mystery, and horror, and the exotic setting medieval as well as oriental. So Horace Walpole, he has written Castle of Otranto. So it's a beautiful example of gothic novel, and it's in guise of a translated lost manuscript on the day of wedding. And it's a beautiful fantastic romance, blended two kinds of romance, the ancient and the modern. Another type of novel is historical novel. So historical novel, as the name suggests, novels that reconstruct a past age, often when two cultures are in conflict. Fictional characters interact with historical figures in actual events. So, Sir Walter Scott, who is considered as the father of historical novel, he has written the Waverley novel. So, it's a and another one example that I am giving you, Ivanhoe. So, it evokes the atmosphere of a vanished era. So then another least but not last but not least, we have stream of consciousness novel. It's a kind of narration that describes the ebb and flow of thoughts of waking mind, and it is uninhibited by grammar, syntax, or logical transition. It's a mixture of all levels of awareness, sensations, its thoughts, memories, associations, and reflection. If you give exam, if I give you example of stream of consciousness technique novels, then James Joyce, he is remarkable writer, a novelist, writing the novel of stream of consciousness technique. So Dorothy Richardson, Virginia Woolf, Thomas Wolfe, and William Faulkner. So this was all about novel. I hope this video will be useful to all of you. Thank you.